Hi, Dave here from Dave Does Demos, and today we're going to be talking about IoT. This is a growing technology area, as you're probably aware, and the thing we're going to be talking about is what devices that we can use for demo purposes. Normally people talk about getting a Raspberry Pi or something like that, but this demo, which is going to turn into a demo series about how to do IoT, we're going to talk about using everyday devices that are going to be much more accessible, and you're not going to end up with some kind of circuit board sitting in your kitchen cupboard. So we're here in the Swings room at Microsoft Headquarters UK to just give you a nice background there. So first up, when we think of IoT, it's this kind of thing that we're generally thinking of. You can buy these that are certified for use with the Azure stack, and these are kind of development boards. They come with lots of sensors on them. This one's got a screen on it and various other pieces, and this gives you a bunch of things that are kind of pre-canned out of the box. But as I said earlier, this is kind of the start of creating a particular thing for a particular role, and it's not necessarily something that you're just going to have lying around, and it may not be the kind of thing that you envisage just learning IoT, getting used to the technology. So the reason I put this together is that we can actually use other devices, and I'm going to put this one just down there as well. I'm using my other phone for recording the audio here. So what I thought was, this circuit board here has got accelerometers, it's got a compass, it's got various things. So has this. A mobile phone has got a 9-axis accelerometer, it's got a compass, it's got GPS in it, it's got cameras in there, etc. And I started looking into this, and basically the iPhone, you need to have a Mac to start coding for. Android, I just don't have Android phones. So I kind of looked around, and on my wrist that day was one of my watches. So these are Garmin devices, and the reason that I've got the Garmin devices out is because they have their ConnectIQ App platform. So you can actually develop apps to go onto your watch or onto your cycling computer. And these devices also have 3D accelerometers. If I turn this one over, we can see the lights there. That is a heart rate sensor. It's got a compass, it's got a barometer, temperature sensor, various different things, and we can turn that into an IoT endpoint by just writing a small ConnectIQ app, and I've done exactly that. The code is now available on my GitHub repository, links below. And equally, when we've got sensors connected to these, so these over here are the Garmin bike computers, but we can connect up sensors. So this is a bike light, but it's also got radar built into it, so we can then see when cars are coming up behind the bike. But using the app solution, we can then stream in real time that data up to an event hub or an IoT hub, even a Logic app, through a REST API call, and that then means that we can consume that information. And then finally over here, I've got my laptop. So the reason I've got my laptop is that the Surface devices have various sensors in them as well. So there's a camera in there. There's also accelerometers in these. Not a lot of people realize that. So when you're using the 3D applications in there, you can place a 3D object in the real world and do mixed reality with it. So you can actually write just a normal Windows app and use your Windows device to submit things via REST API to do your testing with. But for the rest of the series, we're going to concentrate on the Garmin watches, just because it's a handy thing. They've got plenty of sensors, and it makes a good demo because you can wear it, you can see your heart rate go up and down. If you walk up and down the stairs, you can see the altitude go up and down. So that's what we're going to concentrate on. Okay, so here we are, we've got the watch, and this is ready to run the app. So I'm going to go in here and just browse up to my IoT watch app. Press start, we can see the Dave Does Demos logo there, and give it a moment for the data to start moving through up into the cloud. So what's actually happening is the data is coming from the watch, going over to the mobile phone. The phone is just a proxy to the internet, so we're using the data connection on the phone, whether that's Wi-Fi or 3G. And then that's being submitted into an event hub. And then on the screen here, we can currently see we've now got data coming through, so we can see my heart rate here in the top left is 58, and longitude and latitude won't work at the moment because I'm inside a very large office building, so GPS isn't currently on. But there we've got the magnetometer, or compass as we would know it. We can see the altitude here. That's not going to change because I'm sitting in an office. And down here we can see the accelerometer readings. So they're fairly static, as are the compass. So I'll do the demo with the compass. So if I turn my wrist like this, so that's changing in the y-axis, and we'll then see one of these change. Sorry, the z-axis, that changed. But then if I turn my wrist this way, we should then see another different one change. And there we go. And then for the accelerometers, we can see this is some movement that's been happening, but these are fairly static values right now. If I wave my wrist around like this, then we should start seeing some spikes on there. There we go. So that's jumped up to nearly 2,000 and minus 500, minus 680. So obviously the figures are slightly delayed on the screen because it's going via the internet, and the stats are going once a second from the watch. But using this, we can show a lot of the IoT functionality. We can see the flow of data, and without investing in specialized IoT hardware, this is just my normal watch that I wear day to day. There are many like it, but you could also write a mobile phone app if you wanted to. You could write a Windows app on your laptop that uses sensors on the laptop, just so that you get to an understanding of that technology, which can later then be translated into factory machines or healthcare apps. So in the office currently we're discussing using one of these devices to track somebody's location, and also if they were to fall, we can use the accelerometer to determine whether they've had a trip or a fall. And if that's the case, we can then fire off an event up into the cloud, and that event can then trigger something in, for instance, Dynamics, and we could then send help to that person automatically. So anybody that we're worried about, old and infirm type thing, we can then give them these devices to give them some freedom and to make sure that they're safe when they're out and about. So if you've enjoyed this, stay tuned. We're going to cover the architecture in the next video, then we're going to move on to creating a machine learning algorithm using heart rate data in real time, and then finally we're going to move on to consuming that machine learning model in a new API within Kubernetes. So if you like the series, please down below for subscribe and like, and leave a comment to let me know what you'd like to see in the future.